to talk about OTP Terrain. OTP have been a huge sponsor of ours and supporter of ours since their inception in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
They are a family-owned business here in Western Australia who produce 3D printed buildings like you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
They also do resin models and have branched out into all sorts of different 3D printing things, mainly for gaming.
No, they have branched out, but it's no longer. It started out as just as terrain for gaming, but it is a little bit bigger than that now. But we wanted to, do a review around. We've been using OTP Terrain, as you said, since its inception. If you come to one of our events, you will see it on at least one of the tables.
Yep.
But we haven't really talked about it, and we haven't put it to the test to see how it stands up.
And we had a viewer of ours from outside of Australia ask just how well 3D printing holds up to the Australian summer, because it's fairly world renowned as to how hot it can get down here. So we thought that's a great question. So I got in touch with OTP Terrain and got hold of this building, which is the Café de Normandy, which is apparently the most popular building that they sell for historical wargaming. It's actually aimed at 28mm historic, so it's bolt action, and you can probably scale it down to 15mm for things like Flames of War. But this is the 28mm version that is their most popular seller. And we grabbed it, put it outside in the Australian summer for 2 full weeks during not necessarily a heat wave, but a pretty typical February in Australia.
Well, I had the thermometer out so we had it on the trampoline. It had just a wooden piece of MDF that you glue back to.
It was a black piece
of MDF. So it was sort of the off-cut spray thing, isn't it? So it was covered in black undercoat from where it had been used. Glue tacked onto that, and then on the trampoline. And I did take the thermometer out a couple of times, and because of the black and the reflecting, it was over 45 degrees for a number of those days.
Yep.
And I don't think during the daytime you didn't get less than 30.
12 or 13 hours of summer day at least as well.
And we are talking Celsius. So.
Yes. So the building itself, as you can see, is hollow, and we'll have a link to this building in the show notes, and we'll also have links to obviously OTP Terrain to talk, so you can go and check out all the stuff they do.
Mm-hmm.
I was really impressed, in all honesty, how well it actually survived.
We did think it was going to melt.
Yeah, I mean, this is PLA plastic, so this is a pretty standard form of 3D printing.
So I was really hoping that it would actually survive and we'd be able to use it for some of our upcoming events.
Look, as you can see, the building is intact. It didn't quite survive unscathed from the summer because it did get quite soft, particularly in the heat of the day. One of the window shutters from this particular window has come off. I actually found it inside the building, and it's heated up enough to be knocked in. I don't know, I'll try and get some still photos we can insert here for you to have a look at, but these particular pieces have warped slightly. The roof's not quite sitting as flush and nice anymore, and the actual base of the whole thing has shifted and warped slightly as well under the heat. So I suppose when you actually look at what it's endured, it's survived remarkably well. Having said that, it's probably, I wouldn't say it's unscathed.
I wouldn't say that it's unscathed, but I would certainly say that it's still usable.
Yeah, look, if you were unfortunate enough to do what we did and leave a piece of terrain out in the sun for 2 weeks, it wouldn't be a total loss.
And I wonder how much of it actually, like this part here that's bent, how much of that was because you did go and manipulate it when it was still soft?
Look, there's a chance that I had an impact on it when I did pick it up just to kind of have a feel and see what it was doing. And I'm reasonably confident with a heat gun, I could probably get it heated back up and roughly back into shape.
Well, that's a better idea, because I was thinking, we're actually in the middle of a summer storm at the moment, so we can't do what I was thinking, which is put it back out on the trampoline for the middle of the day, wait for it to heat up and see if we can mould it back to where it needs to be.
No, but a heat gun might have a shot at actually heating the plastic back up enough to get it roughly square again.
Yeah, so these two bits are, this one's probably the worst. And as you said, it's not quite a rectangle.
It's not square anymore, no.
Well, it's never a square, but yeah, it's not quite rectangular. This is quite bowed.
But in terms of durability for PLA plastic, I was honestly expecting to find it all melted and leant over.
We were joking that it would become, sort of some rocky outcrop as just a big puddle of plastic.
It's certainly not anywhere like what I was expecting in terms of damage. It's survived remarkably well. Now this is also obviously a 2-piece print, so the roof's a separate piece. And then
that didn't just happen.
And these little window shutters are actually all part of the print. So the fact that only one of them has actually come off, and all of the other ones, even the open ones that are actually printed that way.
Yeah, so the top open ones here are obviously still fine. It's just this one here that's come off.
So there's only been a tiny small piece of failure in the way this little window shutter has come off.
Mm-hmm.
And no one ever noticed, to be perfectly honest.
No.
But it's...
Well, that would be glued back on nice and
easily reattached.
But also, I'm not sure that would really matter if it didn't have that.
So yeah, the process showed just how durable a proper 3D print is and how hard it is to actually ruin one. We've had our terrain, like Emma mentioned, accidentally left either in the back of a car or the back of a trailer after an event for multiple days and come out to find it completely fine.
Yeah, and that's been in a trailer that's covered with a PVC plastic trailer cover and also in the plastic tub. So some serious heat in there and it's withstood it. So I guess that's one of the reasons that we wanted to try it. To
see how far we could actually push it.
Yeah.
Now obviously the print on these, the walls are actually reasonably thick.
They are, they're probably 4 or 5 mils.
Yeah, so they're a decent thickness, and I suspect that anything thicker than this will obviously withstand it significantly better because there's less ability for the plastic to warp because there's more support to it. So things like some of the Gothic ruins that they do that are quite, an inch or so thick walls are probably not going to feel the heat because they don't heat through fast enough to then have any real warpage. But obviously, without testing, we can't say that for certain. So if you have any concerns about getting 3D printed terrain, I would say that barring the most extreme circumstances, it should survive any sort of standard temperatures anywhere in the world.
So to test that, after we finish recording this now, I'm going to put this in our deep freezer to see after 2 weeks in the deep freezer, what sort of impact does that have on the plastic? Bearing in mind
which is minus 20 degrees Celsius at that point.
So bearing in mind that the plastic will have already undergone stress from being heated out in the summer heat to then put it, well it's cooled down now, but to then put it in the freezer and see what happens when it comes out. Is it brittle? How does that impact it?
The thing I'm most surprised about with this is I assumed that the way that the PLA printers work obviously is layering plastic on plastic. I was expecting separation of the layers, but there's just none of it. There's not a single gap or separation in the whole thing. So even the lettering on the front that says Cafe de Normandy is all still completely intact and legible, and all the gaps in between the shutters on the windows are all legible as well. So it's survived really, really well. I suspect that to get it to do any worse, we would have to be actively trying to damage it. Or be in such a bizarre circumstance, maybe with something that was focusing the heat through a lens or through a glass maybe might do it. But in standard exposure to 2 weeks of heat stress, it's taken a beating and come out the other end, which you could put paint on it and put it on the table. It might not look perfect, but you could definitely use it.
Good. So I'm really hoping that it will be.
So there you go. Go and check out OTP Terrain. Links in the description below. You can find this particular building as well as a whole range of other stuff for all of the science fiction, fantasy and historical in all scales from OTP Terrain. They also do custom miniatures and resin printing as well. So if you've got any queries, check out OTP Terrain.
If you can't find what you're looking for, send them a message because it will be there. It'll just be hidden.
They've got a huge range of products.
The range is absolutely massive, yeah.
And you can also check out any of the terrain in person. If you come to one of our events, we tend to have some pieces of it lurking around the room, and we're looking to expand that in 2020.
Fantastic.
So until the next time, take it easy, guys.
Any questions, let us know.